Welcome to the Vinny Rock Podcast.
Much more than this, I did it my way.
Fucking record. What's up? What up? Let me see. I'm gonna change this. What's up? Okay, that's probably a little bit better. What's going on, y'all? It's the Vinny Rock Podcast. I'm doing this kind of digitally because I'm traveling left and fucking right, and I want to make sure I don't fucking lose this shit. Boom. So check it out. Oh man, today I want to talk about my daughters and dating. I got a lot of messages from guys that are like, man, how do you handle it? How do you handle your daughter's dating? But before we get into that, obviously I want to talk about, you already know my sponsors. Okay. I want you guys to make sure you support those sponsors, at least check them out, see if they're good for you. Willie Peach Chocolate. We just came out with some fucking awesome ass hot sauce. It's more like a mild, it's a smoky. If you just like different sauces, I fucking recommend you buying it and just trying it once. I believe you'll be a fucking reoccurring customer. So you guys go check out Willie Peach Chocolate. You already know where to go for that. WilliePeachChocolate.com. Willie Peach Chocolate Co. on Instagram. Beyond Clothing obviously is your expedition outdoor clothing. We talk about this all the time. Now the winter's coming around again here for Utah-ians. After the summer, it starts to get cold. Temperatures drop. You know your boy is going to be outside doing his thing, and I got to try and stay warm with all the multi-layer systems that they have. So you guys go check out BeyondClothing.com. One, like I keep having to say, and I want to make sure you guys know why I push this so hard, is that I believe in it because I've done it. You know, I was the guinea pig for you guys. Core Medical Group has been the biggest thing that has really changed my outlook on fitness, as well as, you know, positivity in my life. You know, like mentally, I feel good. Like legit, I feel fucking good. And that's because, you know, Core Medical Group has found that my deficiency was testosterone. And I recommend any veteran, any law enforcement officer, any man over 25, 30, that feels different, you know, that just, you know, like you go to the gym and you just go to the gym and you go to the gym and you go to the gym and you feel like, man, there's nothing changing here. Like I don't see my body changing emotionally. I don't feel good, you know, fighting with some depression. Excuse me. But Core Medical Group has actually changed a lot of that in me. Just motivated, just ready to go. I don't know, I post videos and I don't want to go inside the gym. It's all it's true. Like every time you show up at the gym, it's like, fuck. But I do believe in it. It's been the biggest reason I believe my body has completely transformed and I'm getting healthy again. And you guys in the military, go check out Core Medical Group. If you guys have trouble figuring out how to find them, I tag them on Instagram quite a bit, on the Vinny Rock Instagram. But you could also message me and I'll send you my boy Mike, who you can contact him. You contact Mike and ask him about it. And he'll give you all the information. So come to me, especially if you're a veteran. I recommend this. Don't play no games with this. Go get your blood work checked. It could potentially save your life. Perseverance Survival. Don't forget, Perseverance Survival, they have all your Whoopee hoodies, and they also have a bunch of Ranger panties in different kind of selections. I think they're fucking awesome. It's an amazing company. You guys go support them. Perseverance Survival. I got a new sponsor. I'll talk about it now. I didn't think I was gonna, but I'm gonna. Ranger Up sponsors now the podcast. A lot of focus on the sunglasses. They got some new sunglasses that they just sent me. I fucking love them. I got a polarized version. I believe they're called the Renegades. I got to double check that, but I didn't bring it with me today because I just ran out the house to go record this podcast. But my son liked them pair too, so it's kind of cool. So there's a pair that fit him. He's really happy. It's Ranger Up Tactical Eyewear. I have a clear set as well for like shooting and training, and also riding a motorcycle at night. And so I'm pretty excited about this Ranger Up collaboration on the podcast. You guys, if you plan on buying anything, please use my promo code. Goodness, I have the burps today. I have the burps all the time, it feels like. But use Rocco for 15% off. Use Rocco for 15% off anything at the store, but mainly check out these sunglasses. I'll post a picture later on Instagram how beautiful they look on my fucking face, or maybe it's my face that make them look fucking beautiful. I don't know. Either way, I'm super proud to have them as a new sponsor for the podcast. You guys check it all out. Check out the boys. There's beard.com. If you're in Salt Lake, go check out my barbershop. Either way, boom, 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 boom. Dude, it's crazy. I get so many messages about how do I handle dating my daughters. And, I think luckily I've myself put myself through this scenario several times and actually had to deal with it personally. And, I've talked about it on the podcast in a small sense. So I'm going to try and talk about a little bit more in depth on a lot of the insecurities we have and all the uncomfortable ideas we have as men, and why, we can't approach it in the way that it used to be approached. Right. I think the whole concept of taking a picture with your daughter and a gun and showing like, my daddy has guns. I understand the idea of it, but I think it's better to raise your daughter to be that one, right? Like, I do my best to raise my daughters to be self-sufficient, to be independent, to be tough, to be able to. I know that when Big Papi's not in the picture, these girls will be able to protect themselves no matter what, from any man or anything like that. Obviously, not a direct punch to the fucking face, but they'll be able to handle theirs, right? They have enough street sense to know when they're in a bad situation. Multiple different scenarios, and I'm gonna hit one at a time. But let's just take it this way. My dad, he raised my sisters, and I think he was more of the aggressive tactic, right? My dad's a very scary dude, especially when we were younger. It's kind of like a way of being a tyrant leadership, and not saying it was bad at that time. I think it was just kind of the normal concept where dads are very protective of their daughters and don't allow them to date at all and blah, blah, blah. But the one thing my dad did that surprised me at a very young age was when my oldest sister started dating, and I can't even tell you the age of that. Maybe it was high school. What he did was he allowed that boy to come to the house and kind of hang out with the family, because like we're a very family oriented, very close knit family, and so we do things together. Like we watch boxing together, we used to barbecues, all that stuff. And my father allowed her to bring them to the house and kind of fully get integrated into the family per se, where it was cool. It was different. I didn't expect that, right, from my dad. My dad's a very scary dude. I didn't expect that, but he was comfortable with my sister bringing the boys to the house and partaking in what we do. And I get it now. I get what he was trying to do. What he was trying to do is they're obviously not going to do stupid shit when they're at the house. If you're paying attention to them, right? If you're actively engaged in whatever. But two, he gets to know this kid, and the kid gets to know my dad. You know what I mean? And he knows the family and everything else. And I think with that, there builds a little bit more respect. Us as dudes know what us dudes do when we're younger, right? We know, like I tell my daughters this, I said, boys only want one thing, right? We all know. Boys at that age only think about sex. Sorry to say, on sports, right? Like sports, but I'm saying for a boy to want to take the time to know a girl and get to know them, there's a high level of these percentages of these boys that only want to, eventually wants it to lead to obviously a sexual relationship. And I get it. We all get it, right? And we have to hope that, they're responsible enough in that manner. But I don't condone it, right? Like I can say no, I don't agree with it. At the same time, I know that no one could stop us as kids, and I believe that's going to continue to be the case. And what us as parents want to do is such a shitty situation, right? Us as parents, all we can do as parents for all our kids in any fucking sense, male, female, anything, is raise them the best you possibly can. Have open dialogue with them to be able to communicate with them openly about uncomfortable situations. We talked about this in the other podcast, talking about the uncomfortable conversations, the ones you need to have with your kids, and this is one of those uncomfortable conversations, right? Explain to them they need to know the birds and the bees. The birds and the bees talk does not need to come from a fucking teacher. right? It's not needed. I mean, it's comfortable for us parents to allow that to happen, and the teacher's going to give them, the textbook information, but only you can actually break it down to them in the most honest way and say, look, here's what sex is for. Obviously, when people have sex, they procreate, they make babies. Understand that the kids around you are probably having sex. I want you to know that it is not okay for you to have sex at this age. I don't believe you have the emotional capacity to understand the gravity of it. I don't believe that you have the mental capacity to understand the gravity of it, of all the effects it can cause when it comes to, sex, right? Like people tend to use sex in different ways, and so those are the things why I'm just not supportive of it. I know at my age, I didn't need to be having sex that young or whatever the case, because, I couldn't even fucking figure out how to pay car insurance. You know what I mean? It's just a mess. And so, this conversation, my kids already know, like, hey, I don't support it. I don't think you're ready for it. I don't think you're ever going to be ready for it until you become a little bit older. But at the same time, I'm also not stupid. If my child wanted to, they'd find a way. Any of my kids, if they wanted to, they'd find a way. We all know that. And so with that mindset, you want to prepare your kids the most as a father to understand the ramifications of the responsibility it takes. And it's a tough one, right? It's a tough one. I don't think me and my dad ever had the birds and the bees. I learned from my friends, and that's not what you want to learn, because your friends really don't understand shit, right? They're just fucking, it's bad. And so maybe I think my dad was a little uncomfortable with the topic. I think he kind of figured out it's not a hard topic to figure out for boys, but obviously my boys are of age. When they're of age, I'll be talking to them. And my boy is 12 now, so we'll be talking a little bit more and more about the girls thing and about what's going down. He already knows he's going through the puberty and all that other stuff. They've had that class in school, which is a super fucking uncomfortable, funny ass class, dude. But one guy messaged me and says, he's like, it's fucking, I lost my mind. My daughter came home with a fucking sweater from another boy, and she didn't want to tell me the truth. And eventually he got the truth out of her. And I told him, I was like, look, all that stems from is that she's just scared. She's scared that you're going to blow up. And, us as dads, it's very easy for us to blow up on our fucking daughters, to just fucking lose our minds because we're super protective and we want the best for them. And you get nervous that they've already made a stupid mistake and they're wearing some other boy's sweater. It's a fucking uncomfortable thing. And especially if you ask your kid and she can't tell you the truth, it's like, fuck. But like I said, that comes from multiple different occasions where they already feel that it's such an uncomfortable subject that they're scared to tell you the truth. And we as dads need to try and avoid those. I'm not saying it doesn't happen in my household. Trust me, they're scared of me for everything, right? But I still do have the conversations. Like my daughters are like my oldest one was probably the one that was scared the most because I was still dealing with it as a first-time dad and a daughter dating. I didn't handle very many situations very good. I obviously handled them way too aggressive and way too freaking. I had a blowout, right? That's what I like to call it, a blowout. And so for a little while after that, my daughter was trying to hide things, right? And not in like this crazy way, but she just wasn't telling the full truth. And that became uncomfortable because I'm like, look, I get it. I screwed this conversation up in the first place because I couldn't handle it. Now that I understand that you're getting older and I have no control, I need another chance. I need another chance at doing this, accepting the fact that my daughter's growing up and there's nothing I can do but just hope that I've raised a very smart kid who's very responsible and doesn't make a mistake that she's going to be paying for the rest of her life. And so now we actually have a better relationship in the communication of, dating and what to expect. I give her the breakdown on kind of, I say it to my daughters, like, what do you have to offer that boy? Do you have a car? No. Do you have money? No. And so obviously the only thing this boy is looking for is sex. And to be fair, when my son gets that age, I'm going to be like, son, I hope you're not using anyone for sex. I hope if you do meet a girl, you want to spend more time with her, and this is someone that you vision yourself spending a lot of time with for many years, right? Or else what's the point, right? What are you wasting your time for? But that's me, right? This is how I plan to raise my kids. I'm not the guy who's going to be like, go bang every chick you fucking can. I don't agree with that. I personally agree with that. I think men are just as much irresponsible as women, and when it comes to that subject, and they can make some decisions that will follow them for the rest of their life. Literally, they'll literally fucking follow you. The kids will follow you all over the fucking place. So, like you dads out there, that this subject is so fucking, out of your fucking mind, and you're already fuming just listening to this and thinking about your fucking daughter dating. Let me put it to you the real way, man. Your daughter's gonna fucking date with you knowing it or not. That's just the fucking sad truth. Your kids are going to do shit behind your back if they feel like they want to do it. They're so compelled to do it. And you don't trust it. You don't believe in it. Whatever the case, they're going to find a way to do it either way. It's just the name of the game. We all know. We did it. There's very, very few. There's a very small percentage that hold on to their virginity until they're married, whether it's for religious beliefs or not. I think it's healthier the longer they wait, because mentally and emotionally they're more well put together. But I am not stupid, and I know that the way life is, these kids can easily make their own decisions, and I know I made dumb decisions. And so my goal as a dad is always to just prepare them for the scenario, right? Prepare them for the situation. My daughter knows that if, like I told my wife, I said, we have to be prepared for the fact that one of our daughters could get pregnant at a young age. I mean, it's just fucking legit. It could fucking genuinely happen. And what are you going to do? Are you going to kick your daughters out? Are you going to say, get the fuck out of my house? You embarrass me. Like, personally, no, I wouldn't, because I understand life is life. People make mistakes. It is what it is. But you know what I always say? I tell it, like, my daughter went on a date with this dude, and like right when he got there, I said, hey, get in the car. And he jumped in my car and we drove off, right? And she was terrified. I'm getting text messages and calls from my wife. I'm getting text messages and calls from my daughter. I'm not answering. So fuck this. And so the goal of this was to get this kid to understand who the fuck I am and what I'm about. And it wasn't to terrify him. Like, I never mentioned I was military. I never mentioned anything. He already probably looked at me and said, who the fuck is this dude? And so all I did was go to the grocery store. I picked up a 6-pack of beer and I picked up some fucking dinner, right? I just bought the stuff for dinner. And we're just talking. I was just getting to know the kid a little bit, give me that one-on-one session. And the one thing I conveyed to him, the most important thing to him is like, well, look, my daughter's super important to me, right? Obviously. But here's the deal. I want you to know that no matter what fucking happens on a date, no matter what fucking happens, if you have a situation you don't know what to do, I want to be the first call. And I think of it this way, man. Some boy's going to take your daughter out and they're going to go to the movies. What happens if that kid gets a flat tire? Who does he call? What happens if, for some reason, they do drinking, right? They're fucking kids. Who knows? They go drinking and he get a little buzz and he's scared to drive. Who's he going to call? Or is he going to try and drive? Right? What happens if, who knows? You go to a party and he gets jealous and there's a fight, right? It's not like that's ever happened to me before. But that's my point, is I want my daughter, and I want my daughter, whoever she's taking, to know, like, I'm the guy who's going to get them out of shit, right? I'm the guy who's going to save them from the dumb shit, and I'm not going to be mad. I'm just going to say, all right, I got it, and then we'll deal with it after my daughter is safe back in my house. I can deal with it then. But the one thing I don't want is my kids to avoid me when shit is bad. I want to be that fucking first call, like, holy shit, this is bad. Let's just call my pops. He'll figure it out. You know what I mean? And as much as they know they're going to get a fucking earful from me, they won't get an earful from me until I know that I take them out of a bad place, right? Until the situation is fixed. Car accidents, freaking drinking, drugs, whatever the hell it is, if they make a fucking mistake, if they do a dumb kid thing, what dumb kids do, what all kids do, I want to be that dad. So I'm not the guy that condones their kids to drink at home. I'm not the guy that does it. That's not me. But I don't judge anyone else in their own parenting techniques. But I'll tell you this. Have that communication with your kids, man. You fathers, be comfortable with the fact that, your kids should be comfortable telling you everything, in the sense of, Dad, there's a boy I like, and I would like to, he wants me to go on a date with him. Is that okay? And then you decide if they're old enough to handle a date. And if you've explained to them kind of the rules and the boundaries and what you expect, at one point you're going to have to let that let that child go. And one of these days, you're just gonna have to accept the fact that your daughter's growing up, and this is life, and it's not the end of the world, even though it feels like it sometimes. But it's kind of it's part of them growing up, and they're probably gonna get their heart broken, and that's also for you, Dad, to explain to them that it's an interesting time where boys are, like the heartbreaks. Like, am I going to get mad at this boy? Yeah, that's a fucking boy. He probably wants to see, if this girl is not putting out, then he wants to see another girl, whatever the case. You know what I mean? And so you got to think about that. And when they get their heart broken, you also got to be Dad to help that and help them understand that it's no big deal. That's life. And you got to continue moving forward and blah, 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 yakety schmackety. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I just want to kind of take that time, man. I think it's super important for us to stop being tyrants, meaning the big scary guy in the room and why no one wants to talk to you and no one respects you. I think we got to be able to lead from love. I think you need to show your kids you love them, explain to them why you're so adamant about a situation. I think you need to explain to your daughters why it's such a scary thing, because we know what happens when kids start to date. And hopefully your kid understands all the different levels of what can happen while dating and what it leads to. And it's like, as uncomfortable that is, do it, man. Fucking have the conversation with your goddamn daughter. Let her know. Like, what does it lead to? Why is it scary for you? Why is it uncomfortable for you, Dad? Why can't you fucking tell your kid the truth, Dad? You say, hey, daughter, this is uncomfortable because I know what kids do, and I want to make sure that you're not going behind my back. I want to make sure that you say you're going to go to the movies, shoot me a text when you're at the movies, and then be here by 10:30, whatever the case, however you want to do it. But you got to find a way to communicate with your kids through love and not anger, right? Not frustration, not because you're losing control. It's just, you got to let these fucking kids grow, and you got to do it in a healthy way where they want to make sure they come to you when shit is confusing. They want to come to you when shit's not going the way they expected. You know what I mean? But if they know all Dad does is freaking scream at me and he gets mad, well, dude, you're losing your child already because of the fact that you can't communicate. That's scarier to me. That's a lot scarier to me. I love the fact that we can talk. I have my 14-year-old. She's like, Dad, what is it that boys don't like in girls? I'm like, I don't know. Boys don't like, I don't know. Like, just the fact she's asking that, I'm like, oh shit, here we go. She's worried about what boys think. It's a fucking scary time. So obviously me and her had the talk and a conversation about sex and what it is, and is why do I not feel like they're ready at this time and everything else. But all Dad can do is raise them to hopefully have enough respect. They have enough respect for me that they trust that I'm making the best decision for them. So find a way to fucking get a grip of your anger, find a way to get a grip of your fucking frustrations and your insecurities, because that's all it is. We're insecure as fuck. We're scared as fuck, and we just and we're controlling as shit. Find a way to get past all that, and talk to your kids, talk to your boys. Don't let them be turds, right? Like, boys need to know how to treat girls the right way. Boys need to learn how to respect them and treat them like the woman they deserve to be. My sons are young right now, so we're not going through that. But trust me, that's the next conversation I have with my son. Is like, look, if you're taking a girl on a date, you better be taking her on a date because you believe this can be a long thing. Like, you really like this girl and you want to spend time with her. Cool. And you should definitely, if you have a chance to open the door for her. You know what I mean? You better be the respectful guy that doesn't embarrass my name. You should be the guy that's trying to pay. You know what I mean? She should probably, and her parents raised her, she's probably going to try and pay her way, whatever the case. But the way my son, I expect him to treat every woman as well as I treat their mom. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of how I see it. So if you're a parent, you got a hard fucking job. But it's even harder if you're not communicating with your kids and you're scared to just be honest. And that's all I got for you today, guys. This is the Vinny Rock Podcast. I like talking about these personal subjects. They're pretty cool. I'm just learning from my own personal experiences. I want to share them with you guys. It's like life lessons in leadership is really all it is, because, I think parenting is nothing but leadership. You've heard me talk about this before. And think about it like, and your soldiers are going to go and make dumb decisions, you want to make sure that they at least have some respect for you to think about it twice before they make a decision. And if they get arrested for drinking and driving, they're going to call you first to bail them out. And that's kind of how I see it as my kids as well. So I love you guys. Thanks for listening to the podcast. I'm out.